I had the absolute pleasure of going to the King-Ohger Final Live Tour, and oh my goodness, oh my god, I don't even know what to say. What do I say? If you don't know, here in Japan, when a Super Sentai series ends, there's usually a final live tour where the actors will go on a tour throughout Japan, and they'll have stage shows and stuff. And the stage shows will consist of like performance where they do some fighting and stuff, where there's a story and everything. And there's some like talking and some songs and music and stuff. When the King-Ohger Final Live Tour was announced, I was like, oh, you know what? Let's look at the stops. I'm curious. Wasn't expecting to see Hiroshima on there, but Hiroshima's on there, and I'm like, I'm going. Didn't even think twice. So I bought my ticket, and yeah, I was able to go. It was located at Hiroshima Bunka Gakuen, which is a concert hall. Holds about 2,000-ish people, and there are 2 floors to the concert hall. There were 3 time slots in the day, so I guess they did the show 3 times in one day. I went to the second showing, which started at 1:15. The doors opened at 12:30, and I got there at about 12:15. We're at Hiroshima Bunka Gakuen, and there's already a long line of people for this tour. Oh my god. There was already a long line wrapping around the hall outside, and it was a little hot. It's kind of hot outside. Luckily it's not like summertime, but yeah, it was still pretty hot. But Japan's very good about that stuff. They're very efficient, and it wasn't too long after I got into the line that the line started moving, and it was moving pretty fast into the hall. Not that it mattered that there was a long line, you know, because everyone has a reserve ticket anyway, so there's already the seat number and everything already on the ticket. But there was a raffle for like a signed poster or something. Like they were like giving out limited signed posters or something, and there were also limited posters that weren't signed that you could also get. I unfortunately wasn't able to get one. Didn't know about it until the day of. And there were people like decked out in King-Ohger stuff. I was like, because I don't have any King-Ohger like attire. I should probably change that. Yeah, people were like decked out in like shirts and like plushies. They got like their bags with their plushies on and like buttons and everything. Some people were like had like the King-Ohger Premium Bandai cosplay on. I was like, wow, I am underdressed. I just had a Kamen Rider shirt on. But it's just crazy, like seeing the different kinds of people that are just into this show, into Sentai. Like it doesn't matter what age, what gender you are, does not matter. Like anyone and everyone likes this stuff, and it's just awesome to see. And so we get inside, and first there's actually a lobby area where they're actually selling stuff. Of course I bought stuff. Of course I bought stuff. But yeah, they were selling stuff. There was like a main desk where they were selling like the bulk of the stuff. And then there were some other places, like for example, there was a place where they were selling like the King-Ohger perfume and cologne. I actually got a flyer here. They were just selling these there. And they had samples, and I was about to grab some samples, but they were strong. Like the smell was strong. And there was another desk right next to the perfume that were accepting pre-orders for the Versus films, the DVDs and Blu-rays for the Versus films. And there was another desk that was selling some King-Ohger flags, like some little King-Ohger flags. It was a set of 6 flags that each represented the kingdoms. And I think it was if you bought that, then you get a ticket to meet at least the suit actors, not the actual actors, but like the actors in the suits. Yeah, there was a line to like the merch table, like the main merch table, and I was like, oh, I gotta get in the line and get the merch. And there was another long line. That line went on forever too. The building has multiple floors, and so the line went from the merch table all the way up multiple cases of stairs. It was ridiculous. I was like walking up, and I was like, where is the end of this line? And so there's a guy who was working there, at the end of the line, finally, I'm like, I don't even know what floor it was, 3rd floor maybe, and I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna make this show? Because the show at that point, there was like 30 minutes until the show started, and I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to like hope that there's more merch later, leave the line, go to the show, and then come back and see if there's merch there? But I was like, all right, you know what, we got 30 minutes, whatever, we'll just wait in line, see what happens. I waited in line, and again, Japan and their efficiency, yeah, I was able to get through that line pretty quickly, and I got some stuff. So let me show off what I got. So I didn't even know that they were having a pamphlet. I always like getting these pamphlets for like the movies and stuff, but I didn't realize that there was also a pamphlet for these final live shows. And of course I always gotta get the pamphlet. Yo, I always gotta get these. If they have them, I gotta get it. I saw someone in front of me buying it, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get that thing too. But yeah, it's got like character stuff and whatnot. It's really, really cool. There's some interesting things in here too. It has like the story of not just like the show, but also a small description of what happens during the performance part of the live show. They also got like a list of all the episodes, which is really cool, and some notes from like the directors and stuff. And then also something that I've always been curious about, I was always wondering about like the King-Ohger language, because they do have like their own alphabet system, and they got, bam, a list right here of the alphabet. So it's based on katakana, the Japanese katakana, not necessarily like the English alphabet. So there's symbols that represent each of the katakana symbols. But yeah, it's really cool to see this. They even got like the numbers down here and everything too. So that's awesome. I like that. I could probably spell out my name with King-Ohger language. That's cool. I like that. But oh, I love this. Look at the back of this. Got a very beautiful picture of the Ohsama caliber. But yeah, I love this thing. I love that it has all 7 of them right here. I love that. Okay, they got all 7 of them right there. And not only that, this also has all 7. You know, I gotta get the acrylic stands. I'm all about the acrylic stands now. I'm all about these. And this is just really cool. It's nice just even in the packaging. Like, I almost don't want to open it up. I'm going to open it up. Actually, I'm going to open it up right now. But it's nice as it is, isn't it? Look at this. Ooh, look at this. Look at that. That's nice. That's nice. So there's actually 2. So this is going to be the background for this. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is absolutely one of the best acrylic stands I have right now. Like, that's awesome. And I got, ding, the light stick. I had to be part of the crowd. You gotta be part of the crowd. Everyone was buying this, and like, you know, woo! This is so cool. It has all the King-Ohgers, including Racules. Gotta love that they're including Racules in this merch. Bam, right there. Very, very nice. And then buttons down here. You hold it down to turn it on, and then it goes through different colors. Very, very cool. But yeah, going into this, I was like, I gotta, you know, there's gonna be the light stick. Everyone's gonna have one. I gotta get the light stick because people, you know, they use these during the show and everything. Yeah, gotta get one. This is my first ever light stick. Never owned one. Turn it off. You just hold down the button again. Bam. Very nice. This is cool. I like it. Never gonna use it again, but I did get one last thing, but I didn't get it until after the show, and I'll reveal that after I talk about that show. So let's talk about it. So after I bought all my stuff, I went into the actual hall. So the hall itself was 2 stories. The first story was pretty flat. There might have been like a slight slope, but for the most part, it was just the seats were all like kind of just lined up together. But for the second floor, it was almost like a few different floors because the slope was more like this, but like a bunch of seats going like this. So the second floor went pretty high up. Luckily, I was on the second floor, but I was at the front, the very front of the second floor, which was really nice. I got a pretty good view of everything, of the cast and everything, which is awesome. Unfortunately, you don't get to like choose your seat when you buy your ticket. Your seat's just given to you, just depending on availability when you buy your ticket. And man, it was a fun time. It was such a fun time. I saw, oh god, what's his name? I forgot his name. But the person who plays Maji Yellow and Beatbuster, he was there. He was like kind of like hosting the show, which was really cool. Really cool. He was the first one to come out. And then Morphonia and Suzume came out. The show started and the cast came out one by one. I think Gira came out first and then the rest of them came out. Oh man, like so the first 6 came out and then later on Racules showed up. The effects were really cool when they henshined, like the lights and everything that they did. Awesome, so awesome. The story was interesting. It was very comedic. They were trying to decide whose face to put on the new banknotes or like the new dollar in GQ. It was really funny. The main villain was called, I think he was called Kasunorok or something like that. Kasu as in like gas, meaning like he emitted gas that either smelled bad or it weakened the King-Ohgers. At one point, Kasunorok captured Racules and Gira had to pretend that he was evil, so he fought against the other King-Ohgers, but then he ends up getting captured too. And then with the power of the audience's cheers, the King-Ohgers win in the end, and it's a great time. And I helped the King-Ohgers win. That's canon. That's canon. Anthony from Heroes of Fandom helped the King-Ohgers defeat the bad guys. At one point, the Boom Boongers showed up. I was like, okay, we doing this. Let's go. The Boom Boonger actors weren't there because they're filming, they're busy filming Boom Boonger. But man, speaking of the actors, seeing the actors in person, oh my god, that was amazing. That is the first time I've ever seen Sentai actors in person here in Japan. I've met Sentai actors at Power Morphicon and stuff like that back in the States, but that show was definitely a first for me. And legit, when they came out, when they showed up, I was legitimately about to cry. I'm not even kidding. I was legitimately about to cry. I was tearing up. The lady next to me had binoculars, straight up binoculars, and I was like, that's smart. I should have done that. I should have brought binoculars, get a better look at them. But next time. And throughout the show, people were cheering, and depending on whose scene it was or who was talking, they would for example, if Himeno was talking, they would turn the color yellow, and then so on and so forth. If Gira was talking, red. It was, that was so cool. Racules, people did green for Racules for whatever reason. I guess what other color would they do, I guess, huh? Yeah, that makes sense. Kagodagi, they would do orange, because orange is usually the color that they represent him with. Yeah. Oh man, it was so cool. It was so cool. So when the stage show ended, there was a 10-minute intermission. There was a 10-minute break before the talking portion. So there was a talking / game / music portion of the show. And that was really cool. They talked a little bit. They kind of gave messages to the audience, thanking us for our support. You're welcome anytime. And they played a couple of games. There was one game where Yanma was calling one person, how he does he calls him, whatever his catchphrase is. And then the other person had to talk back to him. That was pretty funny. I think Racules won that. And by the way, Racules' actor is so funny. He's hilarious. And so is Yanma's actor too. They are so funny. There's some cute little moments between Suzume and Racules. People went crazy about that. Jeremy was swooning the audience because a lot of people just like Jeremy. And there was another game where it was an idol contest. So the King-Ohgers had to compete, and Rita was the judge, and she had to choose who would be the best idol. And in the end, she said that she was the best idol, and I agree. I mean, yeah, duh. And keep in mind, the actors are still in character even during this part. They are still in character. I mean, they let loose a little bit. There are times when you could tell, like, oh yeah, that's definitely like the actor being him or herself, instead of like them trying to be like the character. Like, they weren't like actively trying to be the character 100% of the time, but they still went by their characters' names, if that makes sense. Which I thought was interesting. I thought that was kind of cool to kind of keep that persona up, but at the same time still have fun. And depending on which stop you went to in the tour, a couple of the King-Ohgers sang their character songs. So in Hiroshima, we got Jeremy and Kaguragi. They sang their character songs live, and that was really cool. Like, they're good singers. And you know, people gotta go hard with the light sticks and everything, of course. So then final messages after that, curtain closes, and that was pretty much the end of the show. But then the suit actors came out in suit, and all the people that got the ticket to meet the actors were able to line up and do a high five or a fist bump with all of them. So that was pretty cool to see. It was actually all the King-Ohgers, yeah, all 7 of the King-Ohgers and Boon Red. One thing that was cool during the show was seeing this. Oh, this is a flyer. Bam. But this was cool to see all 7 of them lining up. And then both Gira and Hercules had the king armor on. That was cool to see the 2 of them fight together. Oh man. Oh man. I want to see it again. I want to watch it again. There is a DVD and Blu-ray coming out of this show. And I want to say it's the Osaka stop, maybe? Osaka is the last stop of the tour. Or it could be Tokyo. I'm not too sure. But it looks like, according to this flyer, it's 8,800 yen. Japanese media is not cheap. So I stayed a little bit in the concert hall to watch the stunt actors meet some of the audience. And then after I left, I went back to the merch table, and the line was not nearly as long as it was before. I went back to the merch table and I got, ta-da! This is a towel. A pretty big towel. I don't know, let's open it. They were closing the place pretty soon because there was one more showing after hours, and people were already lined up for the next showing, so we had to leave not too long after our show. But yeah, I got this. Oh, is it a towel? It's like a carpet almost. Oh, you know, it's a towel. Ooh, look at this. Look at them. Yes. Yeah, okay, so I've been wanting like a towel or something because I want to put this in the collection room, which, by the way, go check out the collection tour if you haven't already. We got a whole video about that. But I wanted something like to put on the ground because a lot of earthquakes happen here in Japan and my toys fall, and I had an incident where I had a figure break and I was very sad. I put it together, super glue, it helps, so it's okay. But in order to kind of prevent toys from breaking, I'm gonna put this on the floor in front of my shelf, and then hopefully it kind of breaks the fall, and then also hopefully it kind of stops toys from going under the shelf, because sometimes the toys go under the shelf and it's hard to get under there. So hopefully this will kind of solve it. I think I'm gonna have to get like more like carpets or something for that, but I wanted something Sentai related or writer related, and I was like, you know what, this is here, might as well get this. So bam, and they got all 7 of them too, so that's pretty cool, pretty cool. So bam, King-Ohger Final Live Tour official towel. Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger has become one of those Sentai shows that has meant a lot to me. It means a lot to me. It's up there with like Gokaiger and Maji Ranger. They're just really important shows for me. I don't know, it just, I don't know, King-Ohger just really struck a chord with me. Not that I'm not enjoying Boom Boonjer, not that I haven't enjoyed other Sentai. I don't think there's a single Sentai that I've watched that I said, oh, I absolutely hate this is trash. But just something about King-Ohger there's just something about King-Ohger that I'm just like, man, this is peak fiction, absolutely. So will I go to the Boom Boonjer one next year? I don't know. We'll see. I just knew I had to go to this one specifically. This is just a phenomenal experience. It was a phenomenal experience. I'll never forget it. And I can say I've been to a final live tour, a Super Sentai final live tour. And that's it. That's it. We're going to end this off like this. Bam. We're gonna turn this baby on. Bam, right there. All right. Thank you all so much, everyone, for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on our social media just below. We also have a Discord, so make sure to flex your toys, collectibles, all that good stuff. And we will see you all next time. Woo! King-Ohger! Woo!